Movie fans love to let their imaginations run wild when it comes to theories about their favorite movies. Some of them are pretty reasonable, while some others are just downright unbelievable. But either way, it's fun to take a peek into someone else's train of thought and look at a film from a totally different perspective. So we're going to be taking a look at some awesome fan theories from a few of our favorite movies. If you want to see more videos just like this one, be sure to subscribe to Screen Rant and join the notification squad to stay up to date. But before we jump into today's list, why not take a crack at our emoji trivia question? Can you guess the movie from these emojis? The answer will be revealed at the end of this video.
That doesn't look very scary. More like a 6-foot turkey.
Jurassic World. Jurassic World is the 2015 sequel to the original 90s film series Jurassic Park. This fourth installment in the franchise was originally pitched back in 2004, before Spielberg suggested that the film cover a functioning dinosaur theme park. Jurassic World even used some of the Hawaiian set locations from the original Jurassic Park in order to seamlessly fit the new film into the world of the original. One fan theory suggests that Chris Pratt's character, Owen Grady, was actually the back-talking kid that Dr. Alan Grant speaks with near the beginning of Jurassic Park. This would be a super satisfying connection between the two films, if it were true. Unfortunately, this particular theory has been debunked by Chris Pratt himself, who loved the theory and seems to wish it were true. In an interview with the Huffington Post, Pratt said, "I do officially say, as the bastion of Owen's backstory, that's not true."
Okay.
Oh well, it was certainly a great theory, but I guess Pratt can pretty decisively say whether or not it's actually true. Here's hoping we learn more about Pratt's character in the upcoming sequel, which is scheduled for release in 2018. Titanic. 1997's Titanic is perhaps James Cameron's masterwork. Though he'd go on to beat his own record for highest grossing film of all time with 2009's Avatar, Titanic remains an enduring classic that captured the hearts and minds of a generation. But seriously, why doesn't Kate Winslet just take turns with Leonardo DiCaprio on that wooden plank? Even if it wasn't buoyant enough for the both of them, they could have traded off every once in a while. This way they'd at least both have a fighting chance of surviving. I mean, if he were really the love of her life, she wouldn't just let him die. You know what? Maybe we shouldn't get into this. Let's talk about a totally different fan theory. This one suggests that Leo's character, Jack Dawson, was actually a time traveler, whose purpose was to stop Rose from committing suicide, thus ensuring that history would play out as it was intended. There's actually some credibility to this theory, as crazy as it sounds. First of all, if Rose had gone through with it, the crew of the Titanic would have likely stopped the ship in order to find her, and they may have never hit the iceberg. Plus, Jack does reference a man-made lake that wouldn't be created until 5 years after the events of the film.
I find that Jar Jar creature to be a little odd.
Star Wars. This next fan theory concerns the ever-loathed Star Wars prequel trilogy. They may be some of the least acclaimed films in the franchise, but they nonetheless offer some important information regarding the rise of Vader himself. One of the worst parts of these films has to be Jar Jar Binks. Generally regarded as the most annoying character in the franchise, Jar Jar spends a lot of time messing things up and generally making a fool of himself.
Your point is well seen.
But one popular fan theory suggests that Jar Jar is in fact an undercover Sith Lord. That's right, all of Jar Jar's bumbling mistakes are actually part of a carefully planned ruse designed to sabotage the Jedi's efforts. A lot of people wrote this theory off as optimistic speculation, but in a recent interview, the actor behind Jar Jar, Ahmed Best, revealed that he loves this take on Jar Jar, and some of these ideas may not be so far-fetched. Jar Jar's role in the films was largely cut down after the character received so much backlash, but Best revealed that if it weren't for that backlash, Lucas may have incorporated a lot of these ideas into the final film, perhaps ending with Jar Jar being a great Sith master. I think we can all agree that Lucas made the right decision in scaling back the character, but it's great to see Ahmed Best chiming in and having fun with Jar Jar years down the road. High School Musical. High School Musical is the 2006 direct-to-TV Disney film that spawned an unlikely franchise of pop musicals and the successful career of its star, Zac Efron. The film is sort of a modern retelling of Romeo and Juliet, with more pop songs and less death and tragedy. But one fan theory actually puts a dark spin on this cookie-cutter comedy. A Reddit user who goes by the moniker Sky Was the Robot detailed in length a theory that links High School Musical with the 2013 horror film The Purge. In The Purge, citizens are allowed to do anything they want for one night with no legal ramifications. In High School Musical, our protagonists seem to be living in a similar world, only this is a tween film, so instead of murder, these kids are acting out by trashing their school, bribing adults, and violating health code restrictions. It's certainly not the stuff of horror films, but it's exactly what one might expect from a group of good kids who are given the chance to break some rules, but don't want to have anything really bad on their consciences.
I will not allow my Twinkletown musicale to be made into farce.
As you probably already suspected, this theory hasn't been confirmed by the team behind HSM. It's likely to just remain a fan theory, at least for now.
What do you need? What do you need? What do you need?
Aladdin. Aladdin is the much-beloved 1992 Disney classic about the street rat who falls in love with a princess and takes her on an unforgettable magic carpet ride. The film was one of Disney's most successful animated features from their Renaissance era. This fan theory is almost as old as the film itself, and suggests that the entire movie actually takes place in a dystopian future. This whole theory comes down to the genie's dialogue. When he emerges from the lamp, the genie reveals that he has been trapped in there for 10,000 years.
10,000 years will give you such a crick in the neck.
But during Aladdin's makeover scene, he criticizes his style as being much too 3rd century. If the genie wasn't in the lamp by the 3rd century, that would mean that Aladdin must take place in at least the year 10,300. But the genie doesn't stop there. He continues with impressions of many 20th century celebrities. This just pushes forward the timeline even further. However, in a 2015 interview, directors Ron Clements and John Musker commented on how funny and ridiculous they think this theory is, saying, "No, we never thought it was post-apocalyptic, futuristic, or in some other time."
Where are your rebel friends now?
Toy Story. 1995's Toy Story is the very first feature-length film done entirely in computer animation, and it catapulted Pixar into critical and commercial success. The film spawned multiple sequels, and it's in Toy Story 3 that one fan theory has come to light. This theory concerns the franchise's most hated character, Sid. In the first film, Sid captures Woody and Buzz and low-key tortures them until they're able to scare the living daylights out of them and escape. In Toy Story 3, he makes a brief cameo as a garbage man, still sporting the trademark skull t-shirt. But one theory, from a Reddit user aptly named London Garbage Man, suggests there's a reason Sid pursued a career in garbage disposal. As a kid, Sid found out that toys actually come to life. Surely no one believed him, but it would be impossible for him to forget what he saw. As a garbage man, Sid would find all sorts of toys that have been thrown out by kids who grew out of them. Since he knows they are actually alive, maybe the adult Sid is actually rescuing these abandoned toys so they won't fall victim to the trash incinerator. This puts such a nice spin on an evil character, doesn't it? Star Trek and Sherlock Holmes. Is Spock related to Sherlock Holmes? One fan theory suggests that he is. Both of these characters are very alike, geniuses who struggle with the complexities of humanity who are often deeply misunderstood by their contemporaries. In 1991's Star Trek: The Undiscovered Country, Spock says,
"An ancestor of mine maintained that if you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth."
This quote can be attributed to Sherlock Holmes in the story The Sign of the Four, written by Arthur Conan Doyle in 1890. Now, of course, this doesn't prove anything concrete. Even if this was intended to expose Spock's lineage, he could have been talking about Doyle himself, not the character he created. Furthermore, any one of Spock's relatives could have just been a Sherlock Holmes fan who loved the phrase. But the best part about this theory is that it was subtly addressed in the BBC series Sherlock. When Cumberbatch's Holmes says the famous phrase, Watson replies,
"Right, Spock, just take it easy."
We don't have an official comment from the actors themselves, but I'm sure the two were aware of the connection and laughed about it between takes during filming for Star Trek Into Darkness.
I think you've just gone out there and got yourself a bit worked up.
Never had one lesson.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off. With the tagline, "One man's struggle to take it easy," 1986's Ferris Bueller's Day Off follows a group of high school friends who skip out on classes to go on a wacky adventure. In true John Hughes style, this teen comedy features plenty of fourth wall breaking fun and lighthearted comedy.
You can never go too far.
A popular fan theory suggests that the eponymous Ferris Bueller doesn't actually exist. This Fight Club style theory sees Ferris's friend Cameron as the real protagonist of the story.
I'm serious.
Apparently, Cameron created Ferris as a figment of his imagination that, like Tyler Durden, is able to say and do the things that he doesn't have the guts to do himself. Cameron is a good kid who doesn't even want to skip school in the first place, and he certainly doesn't want to take his dad's car on a joyride. but by displacing his fears onto his alter ego Ferris, Cameron is able to have the day off of his dreams. Some fans have taken this theory a step further to suggest that Cameron is also the protagonist of Fight Club, and Tyler is a more adult version of his Ferris Bueller fantasy. While there's no concrete evidence, it is kind of fun to imagine Ferris Bueller as a prequel to Fight Club. Jackson and Uma Thurman won the Palme d'Or at the 1994 Cannes Film Festival and was nominated for 7 Oscars, winning Best Original Screenplay. The film's low budget would spawn.
This is so stupid.
Spider-Man Homecoming. The latest Spider-Man reboot is mere weeks away from being released in theaters. We'll all be able to catch Spidey's latest adventure on July 7th. This film will see Spider-Man finally find a home in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, with Iron Man featured prominently in the movie. But just because the movie hasn't been released yet doesn't mean eager fans aren't already spinning a web of theories around the MCU's latest entry. In Captain America Civil War, the Winter Soldier was activated using a phrase that included the word homecoming. Some fans have speculated that this could mean Bucky Barnes is somehow connected to Uncle Ben's death. There are also numerous theories surrounding Donald Glover's yet unrevealed role in the film. Sadly, he's not playing Spider-Man, but many have theorized that he's playing the Prowler due to a recent solo comic release about the talented inventor. This could mean that Miles Morales, the character inspired in part by Glover's bid for Spider-Man, may be making an appearance in the MCU after all. Those are just 10 of the wildest fan theories we found, but there are so many more. Do you have your own crazy movie theory? Let us know in the comments below. Who knows, maybe your theory will make it into one of our future videos. Until next time, be sure to click that like button and subscribe to Screen Rant for more awesome videos like this one. And in case you're still curious about the emoji trivia question, here's the answer.